Best side.
This is my match video for the NTSA shotgun match held July 29th, 2023. I'm running a Mossberg 590 pump action with a cylinder bore, lack of choke, an 8-round tube, and ghost ring sights. This is practice for CQB brutality and to regain familiarity with the pump action. This stage, stage 3, started off with 3 slug shots from the box, from the start box. The slugs just had to hit anywhere on paper to count. And then after that, get to work on all the steel, both static and falling. You notice I am loading off of the belt, off of some 6-shot California Competition Works caddies. Here I found 2 angles where you could get really good doubles, and then finished off the rest of that array. Here I am again, loading off, triple loading off of the California Competition Works caddies. It's just 6 shells held vertically in a way that you can grab them. Obviously not as fast as a dedicated dual loading or quad loading system, but much more secure and a lot more durable in rougher conditions. I'm practicing for CQB brutality, not necessarily for 3-gun stuff. Therefore, I want shotgun shell holders that will survive. Throughout this stage, you can kind of see that I have developed some habits, be they good or bad, from running Sinistral Rifleman's old 1301, Beretta 1301 in competition recently. The past couple of months, I've been running nothing but the 1301. Stage 3 there, reasonably clean, but you see some mess-ups. Stage 4 starts with a spinner, or you could really start anywhere, but I started on the spinner so that I knew how many rounds I had. And then you clear off the plates. I had to sidestep here because you can't shoot these targets at an angle that will hit the walls. So here I load 3, and right there, that's one of the habits that I've developed from the 1301. In stage 3, you saw me early on forget to rack the shotgun until I reminded myself, right, pump action, I have to do the work. I'm accustomed to the 1301 just doing it for me. You also see that a couple of times now on both stage 3 and 4, I cycle the pump on an empty chamber, knowing that it's empty, and go to load the tube, then have to cycle the pump again. So obviously I need to work some more on loading from an empty chamber with the pump action, making sure to toss the shell in the ejection port, and then send the action home. Anyways, stage 4, pretty clean, relatively slow. Stage 1 doesn't go too hot. This one, you'll see. Here the first array, easy. You shoot them from through that blue barrel. Here I thought I had identified a nice double or triple opportunity where I could hit the large popper, the small popper that would activate the spinner, and one of the clays. I overestimated the size of my pattern at this distance. And as a result, you see I miss the clay that goes flying, and then I muck up the reload here a bit. I also shank a number of shots low left, because, hey, shotgun recoil. But I do finally clean all of that except the flying clay, and I have to load for 5 more targets here. You saw me drop around there. That's because I tried to shove it in the bottom. I tried to shove it in the loading port, even though the pump action was back. So, you know, in the ejection port. I gotta practice that a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, click. Because mentally I had felt that round go in the loading port, even though it didn't stay there, and I had counted that as loaded. Oops. Stage 2, last stage of the day. Finally back to pretty decent, and actually back to loading things properly. So you see me, one of the things you may have noticed in the previous stages is I started to reload off of the S-Tac shotgun card before I had exhausted my belt, which is horribly inefficient. So that flipper was supposed to fly a lot higher, like this one. It's supposed to launch like a giant toaster, but that flipper did not quite function properly. Anyways, you saw that I started loading from the S-Tac cards, which is a lot slower, even though I still had rounds left on my belt. You see, I'm doing it here too. And then I remember, right, I still have loaded caddies on my belt. I should use those. Then shoot this stuff dry, and I miscounted. I knew I had 3 targets left. I wanted to have 4 shells for the 3 targets. So here I sent the pump home on an empty chamber, loaded 3 into the tube in a really haphazard manner. Went click, pumped it. Finally finished with another decent stage. End result, I ended up placing 9th out of 15. I was the only person shooting a pump shotgun, and I still placed pretty well. Am I satisfied? No. Do I have things to work on? Yes. Am I happy? Yeah, it was a lot of fun. What more could you ask for from a triple-digit day in North Texas?